Hey, hello everyone. Thank you for joining my course on news classification. Welcome, a warm welcome to everyone all across the world. In this particular course, we are going to learn about news classification. Basically, it's a process of classifying news into several categories like politics, technology, sports, business, etc. And instead of human being responsible for classifying the news, we would like machine to do the classifications so that we can do this at a very fast rate, right? So that you can scale the solutions and do millions of classification of news items in a matter of few minutes. That is what we want to achieve. So let's talk about the problem space. So here is a typical screenshot of Google News, right? So as you can see in the middle, we have headlines and also typical top news of the day. Also, if you look on the section on this side, so you have the several categories of the news, right? You have categories in world, local news, business, technology, entertainment, sports, science, health, etc. So what happens is whenever the news folks are out in the field and there are hundreds or thousands of people in the field, they just gather the news article and send it to the main head office of news uh, agency, right? And the agency, there is someone who's going to curate and is going to categorize them, tag them into these categories, like whether this news falls into business category, technology category, entertainment category, sports and science, etc. Right? So that's a manual process, and that takes a lot of time. But it's important to do that because a lot of times people are not interested in all the areas. They might be interested in only certain areas, right? So we want to personalize and appeal the users so that they get the news in the topic they're interested in. So that's why the process of tagging the news into specific categories is important, right? So one example here is, for example, I am so that we can generate recommendations for every person, and it's a personalized news we can generate by tagging this. For example, I am particularly interested in travels and area, and I'm particularly interested in the AI development. What's happening in the AI area? What's the latest news? What's the buzz news? What are the latest trends in the AI technology? Or traveling, what are the new sites that I want to see? Or is there any immigration issues, travel ban issues, so that I can plan my travel carefully. I'm interested in those two sections. So by tagging those news into specific topics, news agency can generate this news personalized to my taste. Similarly, some other person might be interested in the news about sports or entertainment, and you can tune the news by providing him only the news into that specific categories, right? So it's very important to tag the news, and so that we can generate the personalized news recommendations for users which are more appealing, and in the end, so that news can if news is personalized, more and more people will visit your website, right? So in the end game is generate a content which is more personalized to the users by categorizing them into specific categories. So I want to show you a demo on how to do that. So here is an example that I have built, and I will teach you step by step in this lecture on how to do that. So let's say here I have built a news classifier app, which is basically takes the news. You can type any news in this text box, and once you click get news category, it will show you the news category for that particular news. Now behind the scenes, I have trained a deep neural network model to which understands how to classify the news, and we will go into details about that also, but I just wanted to show you a demo. So what I'm doing is I'm going to some website, a random website. It's sports.yahoo.com, and I'm going to copy this news, right? And I'm going to paste it in my web engine, and I'm going to ask the news engine to classify this news. So it's correctly classifying this into a baseball category, right? So that's the so it's intelligently categorizing the news into this category. Similarly, let's try some other news. Maybe let's say technology or politics. Let's copy some technology news and see if it's able to do that job also. Let's try the news. Let's try this news about Samsung, and let's see it's able to classify this correctly. Yeah, so as you can see, it's able to classify this Samsung news correctly into this category, right? So that's how news classification works. And in this course, we will learn a lot of things. Let's go through this exercise. So all of my source code is basically available into this location. I have open sourced it, and you can copy this link and download the code on your machine and practice along with me. The course, here's the course outline. Um, we are going to go through each and every step of how to build this news classifier. We will learn about word embeddings, which is an important theoretical understanding that we need to build to understand the news classifier. Then we will also understand how to use the convolutional neural network for text, and which will involve some understanding and intuition about the deep learning model, which we'll use for classifying the text. And then we will go through an interactive Jupyter notebook, and we will go through step by step. And you can also practice along with me as you can, so that you understand what's going on behind the scenes. And then we will build a Python web Flask web application that I just showed you step by step, so that you can generate this classification app yourself. And then we will also learn about the next step, that you yourself can extend this app further to take advantage of classifying news, maybe building a bulk news classifier, so that you can classify the news in a bulk manner, and then update some database, and then you can feed that, you can use that as a feed for recommendations.